Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie. I'm a United States Special Forces widow. This gives me a unique perspective on the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. All right, how you guys doing out there today? One, I apologize for being so late. It seems my settings were just off and I couldn't get everything, and I didn't want you guys to suffer through listening to dead air for an hour, so I worked through the problem. But I finally got on the air. So, I have a lot to try and cram in. Now, what I've decided to do after I get done broadcasting with you guys, because I have so much stuff, I'm going to hit the topics I really want to hit first. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to record another episode. And I'm going to put it up for tomorrow morning. Oh yeah, you're going to get an extra episode of Jessie's POV tomorrow morning. All right. Now, thank you all for being the most awesome listeners out there and bearing with me. All right. The topic I want to cover first, with all of us watching the Olympics, come on. Is the Olympic spirit alive and well? I'm going to say it sure is. And you can thank two young girls, Hong Yoon Jung and Lee Eun Ju. They are North and South Korean gymnasts. And they took a selfie together. North and South... What? Wait a minute. You're going, yes, so? People take selfies together all the time. What makes this one special? North and South Korea are still technically at war. Now, I know it's a technicality. And Kim Jong-un has been shooting off a rocket at what seems like every other week over there. So, this photo is amazing. Especially when you consider Lebanese athletes who allegedly refused to ride on the same bus as their Israeli counterparts. Oh, yeah. And Rio organizers had to intervene, and the two teams traveled separately to, quote-unquote, prevent an international and physical incident. So, and the organizer, Udi Gal, said, how could they let this happen on the eve of the Olympic Games? Isn't this the opposite of what the Olympics represents? Now, I'm not going to go into medal counts because, quite frankly, you can find them everywhere. You want to know a medal count? You go look for it. Probably won't take Google 20 seconds to come up with it. All right, so I'm not going into the medal counts, but I want to commend those two young ladies for reminding this world what the Olympic spirit was all about. It's about putting aside differences and standing together, if only for a few weeks. Yes, the Olympics, despite all the hype and all the money that's spent, is a few weeks long. Now, so my hat is off to those two young gymnasts. And the average age of gymnastics, people say when you're 18, you're almost too old for the sport. So I'm going to say these two young ladies, I'm going to guess were 15, 16 at most. Hard to tell from the photo. I didn't see ages listed, and I haven't had time to research it. So, but I still think it's absolutely amazing. All right, I am looking for an audio clip. Yeah, I'm always looking for an audio clip. I know, not a news flash. Let me see if I've got the right one. And whether I do or not, bear with me.
Shahram Amiri was given a...
Yes, this is it. All right. Now, we're going to move. So, shout out to the North and South Korean gymnasts. All right. Let's talk about our good friends, Iran. Okay. First of all, Iran is well known for acting up while the rest of the world's looking elsewhere. So while the Olympics are going on, that is prime time as far as Iran is concerned for pulling stunts. And yes, I do mean the word stunts. They're well known for it. Come on. All right. Now, they executed an alleged spy, and I hate to say he probably was. So, let me find the article. All right. Spy saga comes to a close as Iran executes a nuclear scientist accused of giving information to the U.S. An Iranian scientist who became the center of a real-life spy saga after he was accused of sharing information with the United States about his country's disputed nuclear program has been executed. And this has been confirmed by officials in Tehran, and it was confirmed on Sunday. Shahram Amiri, who disappeared from Iran in 2009 and surfaced in the United States, then returned to Tehran to a hero's welcome, was hanged to death last week. Amiri, and this is the quote from the spokesman from Iran's judiciary. Amiri was executed after a long and careful trial, and the Supreme Court reviewed and scrutinized his file. And this is according to spokesman, never mind, the spokesman. I'm not even going to try the name. A day earlier, Amir's family told BBC's Persian news service that his body had been handed over with rope marks around his neck. The news ended the long-running mystery over Amiri's whereabouts since returning to Iran in 2010. He vanished from public view and was widely believed to have been arrested, with family members telling media that he was being held at a secret detention facility. His apparent defection to the United States in 2009 was seen as a coup for the CIA, which had been trying to get him to spill secrets about a nuclear program. Then the United States said could be used to develop lethal weapons. Iran, which long maintained that its nuclear program was for peaceful purposes, has agreed to limit uranium. All right, if you believe Iran's going to limit anything. So, we don't know how much information Amiri shared. Some reports have suggested he was not a senior enough position to know sensitive details. So, and analysts speculate Iran threatened Amiri's family back home in July 2010, 13 months after he defected. Amiri walked into the Iranian interest section of the Pakistani embassy in Washington and demanded to be repatriated. Among the emails that were released last year from the Democratic presidential nominee was 10-year Secretary of State was a note from senior advisor Jake Sullivan that appeared to refer to Amiri a day before his desire to return home became public knowledge. The gentleman, and it says, quote, the gentleman has apparently gone to his country's interest section because he is unhappy with how much time it has taken to facilitate his departure. This could lead to problematic news stories in the next 24 hours. When he returned to Iran, he claimed he had been kidnapped by U.S. and Saudi intelligence officers and tortured by the CIA. Now, this is Propaganda 101. And yes, I do mean Propaganda 101. So, alright. I've got the audio from his return pulled up. Let's take a quick listen. And then we will get on with the rest of the story. We'll discuss a little bit more of it.
And the strongest condemnation of...
Wrong clip. Sorry, I'll get there. I've got a few too many clips open. We aren't getting to all of them today. That's quite evident. And Host Kitty's demanding something back there. Here it is.
Shahram Amiri was given a hero's welcome in 2010 when he returned to Tehran after disappearing during a Saudi pilgrimage in 2009 before resurfacing in the United States. But he was soon arrested in Iran and tried for treason, reportedly for giving vital information about the country to the U.S. through his American connections. Now, Iran's judiciary says the nuclear scientist has been executed for treason after Iran's Supreme Court upheld his conviction of spying for Washington. A U.S. official had said in 2010 that the U.S. had indeed received useful information from him. Amiri was a university researcher working for Iran's Atomic Energy Organization. Iran had accused the CIA of kidnapping him, but U.S. officials had said Amiri was free to come and go as he pleased, and that he may have returned to Iran because of pressure on his family back home. Although in a 2010 video on state TV, Amiri himself said he had fled from U.S. agents. Relations between Iran and the U.S. have been thawing after last year's landmark nuclear deal. It curbs Tehran's nuclear ambitions in exchange for a lifting of economic sanctions.
All right, so, excuse me there. This guy fled to the U.S., and he was in, I think, Egypt or Saudi, and I don't recall. And then was somehow popped up in the United States. Yeah, we probably had a hand in that move. And then he made, I hate to criticize the dead, but then he made the decision to return to Iran. He had to know the minute he got on that plane, he was a dead man. I'm sorry, Iran does not let you run around and then go, "Oh, I'm done. Thanks. Have a nice day. I'm going home." All right. So, like I said, it's been one of those things. He has been executed, and his body was returned to his family with rope marks around his neck, which tells me the method of execution was hanging. So, yeah. I understand why they did it. So, it's just one of those things. If he had never made that decision, he would probably still be alive and well. However, I'm going to suggest that Iran had put sufficient pressure on his family back home to cause him to want to return. Because I can't see someone just willingly going, "Okay, I've chatted with the CIA, I'm here in the United States. Now let me go back to one of the most repressive regimes in the world." It had to be a lot of pressure. I'm thinking that they were holding a beloved family member, mother, brother, wife, threatening to torture or execute a child. And yes, Iran does have a reputation for executing children. All right. Now, another big news. Oh, we're past the bottom of the hour. All right. We are going to take a brief commercial break, and then we will get on with the rest of the news. You can lay down if you wanna. You can run away if you wanna. You can pretend that this is totally okay if you wanna. You can play dead if you wanna. Forget what they say if you wanna. Turn your back on the country.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity.
All right, that's not the only bad news story I have for today. Of course, I can always find the bad news stories, can't I? Isn't that my specialty? All right, well, let me pull up the story. So, that wasn't it. I just had it. Where did it go? Well, while we're still on Iran, Iran has banned Pokemon Go before the game has even officially launched in the country. And it's the first country to do so, and it's banned it over quote-unquote security concerns. And it says any game that wants to operate nationwide in Iran first needs to obtain permission from the Ministry of Culture and Islamic Guidance. And the Pokemon Go app has not yet requested such a permission. Iranian officials feel that security-wise the game can create problems for the country and its people. Iranians on social media, however, have discussed playing the popular game recently despite the country's many restrictions on internet usage. And this is according to BBC. Iranians use a smart filtering software system that affects connectivity speeds and in many cases has replaced more traditional mechanisms for blocking internet services. Pokemon has become a global phenomenon, yada, yada, yada. All right. There's my story. And this story, actually, I've seen it in a number of places, but the best version I found was from Press TV, which is an Iranian news source. On Sunday, Kabul Police Chief Abdel Rahman Rahimi confirmed that kidnapped professors were U.S. and Australian nationals. The U.S. State Department has announced its awareness of the incident, however, has declined to comment due to, quote, privacy considerations. The incident comes just a few days after the Taliban officially claimed responsibility for an attack on a convoy of foreign tourists in the country's western region. The militants have intensified attacks following the appointment of Mullah Abdullah Akhundzada as the new leader of the Taliban. I'll work on the name, sorry, I'm sure I'll be saying it a lot. According to a report by Amnesty International, at least 12 million Afghanis have been internally displaced due to violence in the past years. Afghanistan remains gripped by insecurity 15 years after the war. So, yeah. Looks like we didn't do such a good job. We tried, but I think we cut back too early. All right. I have time for just a couple more stories, and I have a lot more to get to. So I'm going to be real selective. We're going to discuss South China Sea. You thought you'd heard the last of that one. Nope. China wants to build floating nuclear power plants in the South China Sea. Oh yeah, you heard it. Floating nuclear power plants. Anybody remember Fukushima? Yeah. What could go wrong? The thoughts are endless. All right, I've got a news clip, and let's take a listen.
Beijing, China. China may build mobile nuclear power plants in the South China Sea, state media reported on Friday, days after an international tribunal dismissed Beijing's vast claims in the strategically vital waters. Marine nuclear power platform construction will be used to support China's effective control in the South China Sea. The website of the state-run Global Times cited the China National Nuclear Corporation, CNNC, as saying on a social media account. The Global Times cited the report as saying that marine nuclear power platforms will be used in the islands and reefs of the Spratly chain in the contested sea to ensure fresh water. The original report was deleted from CNNC's account on social media platform WeChat on Friday, and a staffer at the firm told AFP that it needed to confirm its accuracy. In the past, the freshwater provision to troops stationed in the South China Sea could not be guaranteed, and could only be provided by boats delivering barrels of water, the Global Times cited the report as saying. In the future, as the South China Sea electricity and power system is strengthened, China will speed up the commercial development of the South China Sea region, it added. China has rapidly built up reefs in the sea into artificial islands in recent months, installing civilian and military facilities on them. The report comes after a Permanent Court of Arbitration (PCA) tribunal on Tuesday backed the Philippines' case that there was no legal basis for Beijing's maritime claims, which extend almost to the coasts of neighboring states. It also found that China's activities had inflicted severe damage to fragile coral ecosystems and caused serious harm to endangered species. China has insisted that it will ignore the decision while warning its rivals that increasing pressure on the issue could turn the resource-rich waters into a cradle of war. The state-backed website The Paper on Friday quoted China Shipbuilding Industry Corporation (CSIC) engineer Zhu Hanchao as saying that 20 marine nuclear platforms were in development. But Zhu added that they would be deployed to oil fields in the Bohai Sea off China's northeast coast, not in the South China Sea. CSIC could not immediately be reached for comment.
All right, that's enough of that audio clip. I think we're all getting the picture here. South China Sea has claimed the Spratly Islands, despite an arbitration ruling saying they have no claim. All right. Now, I know I covered this once, but I'm going to cover it again just briefly. So, the Iran nuclear deal. Yeah, we're going back to Iran. And the reason I bring it back up is the Iranian state media at the time of the swap quoted General Mohammad Reza Naghidi, a high-ranking Revolutionary Guards commander, saying the money was in return for the release of the American spies. Now that is what Iran calls all captured Americans. They think all Americans are spies. Whether you are, whether you're not, they don't care. You are, as far as they are concerned. That's why Iran, under its current regime, will never be on my most visited list. Would I love to go there? Yes. Am I going there anytime soon? Absolutely not. I am searching for that audio clip. I found it in Iranian, but I want to find it in English because, I want to find somebody that's translated it. Because, I don't know about you, Farsi ain't my first language. So, alright. Got time for just a couple more things. Emperor of Japan. Let's take a brief listen.
Some years ago, I underwent 2 surgeries, and I began to feel physical weakness due to my age. These experiences made me to think, if it becomes difficult for me to fulfill the important duties that I have done in the past, what I shall do to make it best for the state, the people, and the younger generation of the imperial family who will follow my steps. When I consider my age of over 80 years, as well as gradually deteriorating physical conditions, despite being luckily healthy at this moment, I have concern about not being able to fulfill duties as a symbol with my utmost efforts, as I have done so far. About 28 years have passed since I acceded to the throne. I have shared with the people happy times and sad times in Japan. As the emperor, I have attached the greatest importance to praying for peace and security, as well as happiness of the people.
Alright, so essentially, Japan's emperor, which is a symbolic position, as all political power was removed at the end of World War II, he wants to step down. He wants to resign. But Japanese law currently doesn't allow for that. It currently only allows him to serve until he dies. So, yeah, it's gonna... for his sake, I'd like to see them change the law. So... that's all I can say on that one. If he wants to step down, why force a man who doesn't feel physically capable of carrying out his job to do so? Alright, I know there's a show on my heels. It's coming up any minute. So, and it is When's World. So, I'm going to take just a couple more minutes, and then we are going to get on out of here. Let me check and make sure there is an episode of When's World here on for tonight. Give me 2 seconds to take a quick look. So, like I said, it's been an interesting week. Now, before I get totally off track, I found an article and I don't have time to play the clip right now. I'd love to, but I don't have the time. So, it's about Russia's secret soldiers fighting in Syria. Now, I'm going to put this into the morning version of Jessie's POV that I'm going to record just as soon as I get off the air with you guys. And on my heels is the best of When's World. So this could be cool. When's World's always fun. I love how he does a nice variety show. It's just something different. I love our politics guys. I love all those kinds of things. But, you know. Now, I'm just looking up some of the latest news headlines. By the way, despite what you see on TV, the Olympics are not without protest. There are citizens of Brazil and of Rio that are protesting. So, all right. Inside Olympic venues, protests on social media went viral, showing people with tickets being forcibly removed, some simply wearing t-shirts calling for Tamir's ouster. This is a complex dilemma because Brazil's elected president, Dilma Rousseff, has been suspended and is waiting an impeachment trial. Rousseff has called to remove her a coup and refused to attend the opening ceremonies of the Olympics she helped organize. Although some Brazilians want to use the Olympic Games to highlight their grievances, both International Olympic Committee and Brazil's government say political acts are not allowed inside the Olympic venues and have vowed to continue removing people who flout the rules. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the Constitution, but these kinds of political protests cannot disturb the Games. Also, this was an issue during the 2014 World Cup, which Brazil also hosted. So, in shutting down protests now, the government and the Olympic Committee are acting unconstitutionally, says Eloise Macha de Amida, a professor of human rights at the Gilberto Vargas Foundation. She maintains all citizens have the right to protest by wearing shirts or holding up signs anywhere they want. The current restrictions are violating the law. And, of course, people are saying every Olympics has some protest. Would you believe they've even tried to extinguish the Olympic flame? Oh, yeah. They've tried to extinguish the Olympic flame. So. Alright. Let's take a quick trip, and I do mean quick trip through my mailbox, because I got to get out of the way for Wentz's World, which is spinning up as we speak. Alright. I'm looking for a good one. There was malware that hid for over 5 years. Scientific security experts have discovered a rare malware platform that's so advanced in its design and execution it could probably have been developed only with the active support of a nation state. The malware, effectively known as Project Sauron by researchers from Kaspersky, has been active for the past 5 years. All right. Mexico searches for victims of deadly storm Earl. U.S. calls for release of 4 Chinese human rights activists. There was the Quetta hospital bombing in Pakistan, and Taliban claimed responsibility for it. Let's see. New images suggesting China militarizing disputed islands. Australia sets up cyber specialist unit to trace terrorist payments. Erdogan backs the return of the death penalty And yes, Turkey stopped its death penalty only so it could attempt to join the EU, because the European Union refuses to accept capital punishment in member states. Alright, we are almost done my mailbox, which is a good thing because we are almost out of time. Oh, Russia and Syria have shaken hands and played nice, have decided they're going to play nice. Yes, I will have more on that on the special Jessie's POV Morning Edition. In the South China Sea, there's more signs of aircraft carriers and other military things being built on the man-made islands. Yeah, back to the Pakistan suicide bomber. So, alright. On that note, I'm out of here!